Perfect. Hey, good morning. Good morning, India. I hope you're all excited to be here this morning. Namaste. My name is Hammad Rajjoub, and I'm joining you all from a rainy and cold Seattle on a Friday night. My keynote today is really focused on three key things. Number one, I want to share our worldview of what are the latest trends that we're seeing in cybersecurity. Number two, I want to talk a little bit about the evolution of zero trust and why and how trust is so crucial part of this conversation. And number three, I want to switch gears and talk about how to secure the present and plan for the future. So let's just jump right into it. We all know that AI is moving fast. It is moving faster than anything we have ever seen. Every industry is feeling the shift, and it's opening new possibilities overnight, literally new possibilities overnight. The moment is giving rise to something that we call the frontier firm. Frontier firm is a place where a human ambition and intelligent agents come together to help people do things they just simply couldn't do before. And we believe that is the real opportunity, using AI not just as a productivity tool to work faster, but to really unlock new potential, to be able to go do things that we could not do before. Every customer that we talk to is on this path. So let's take a look at what that journey really looks like. I'm going to build the slide out. More than 80% of leaders that we surveyed, they are either already using agents or they will use agent within the next year. So maybe next time when we meet on this conference, you may have a whole agentic team with you joining this conversation next year. And this is not a minor shift or a typical technology shift. IDC projects 1.3 billion agents by 2028. So that's roughly the population of India. For every human, we anticipate for every human, there will be multiple agents working for them. And that scale really changes everything that we do. So slide is not moving. Is that for everybody? I cannot really track the chat. Let me know. Please feel free to come off mute.
Yeah,
It should say democratizing intelligence. Is it not doing that?
yes.
Okay, perfect. Cool. I'll continue to build out the discussion. So with AI's introduction, there are some security challenges, and I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just kind of set the context for that. The rise of the frontier firm is unlocking incredible potential. There's just no doubt about that. But it's being driven by a profound, not only the transformation led by AI and intelligent agents, but that transformation is also reshaping the security landscape in the ways that we have never seen before. AI is not just helping defenders move faster, it is, on the flip side, also helping attackers do the same. AI automated phishing is now 4.5, 5 times more effective. And 80% of the leaders that we surveyed, they say their top concern is with the generative AI is the sensitive data leakage. And at the same time, most security environments are already strained under extreme complexity. There's the geopolitical tension and just the internal fragmentation of the security architecture that we have. So like Stanley said in his famous Spider-Man comic, with great power comes great responsibility. So we got to look at the yin and yang of AI in the context of security. So at the bottom of the screen, you're seeing the traditional threat vectors that we are all familiar with as defenders, as folks who work in IT. We understand network, we understand data, we can talk about endpoints, applications, cloud, and all of that stuff. But with AI, there is just a new surface area that is opening up. It's not only intensifying the traditional threats, it is bringing the new threats to life. We now have to secure things that simply did not exist before. Prompt injection, responses that can be manipulated, data pipelines that fuel the models and agents, the plugins, the integration, the expanded attack path, and autonomous agents that could really become double agents and take actions at machine speed before you even realizing what is happening. So we're going to have to look at the yin and yang of that. I'm on the slide that should say AI creates new attack surfaces. Is that not what it is that you're saying?
Yeah, we're still seeing the first slide. Hammad.
All right, so that is not how it should be. Let me stop and start the slideshow one more time.
We see
Is that any
slide
better?
4. We see slide 4 now, if that's what you're showing.
Yes.
Okay.
AI creates new attack surfaces. Is that what you're saying now?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, perfect. So, because trust is the foundation on which every interaction is built, human or digital, whenever we delegate decisions, share data, or allow systems to act on our behalf, trust is what makes that possible. And security has always and will always be the root of trust. Without strong security, trust breaks down, guardrails fail, confidence erodes, and innovation really slows down. So trust has to be the foundation of everything that we do, particularly in the age of agentic AI. This matters more than ever. Organizations are increasingly relying on intelligent systems to reason, to decide, to act, often with limited human oversight. And to do that responsibility, they need to know those systems that they're relying on, including agentic systems, are operating safely, consistently, and with clear boundaries. So that's why trust has to be at the heart of everything that we do. That's why security must come first. And that's why it remains a number one priority at Microsoft. So it's not just a theoretical conversation. We have actually operationalized it. And throughout the conversation, you will see me refer some of the things, like introspectively looking at how Microsoft does it. I've tried not to include products, names, and capabilities, but I do want to give you an authentic flavor of how Microsoft is looking at this landscape. And I'm sure you will get to see many product demos and experiences throughout the day today. So through the Secure Future Initiative, security is now baked into everything that we do. It's part and parcel of how we design software, services, products, how we ship them, and how we operate them. Secure by design, secure by default, and secure in operations. We've mobilized equivalent of 35,000 engineers behind this effort. It is the largest cybersecurity engineering investment. Yeah. There's some echo coming through. Definitely in the Microsoft history, but in the history of digital, large digital enterprises as well. So with that out of the way, what is the new security paradigm look like, and how should we go on that journey to tackle that and make the most of all of the agentic capabilities that are available to us? So if the traditional question was, hey, is the user authenticated? Is this action authorized? The agentic era question for that is this agent authenticated? Does this agent have an ID? Do I know who that agent is? Is this action authorized? Is the reasoning sound? And the actions aligned with the intent? Are we auditing, securing, safeguarding, creating those audit trails to capture agent's decision logic? Or is it a hallucination, or is it a black box that I don't know what that looks like? Trust becomes dynamic and continuous. So agent must prove their trustworthiness with every action rather than receiving a blanket permission at the time of authentication or when the security token is issued. Likewise, authorization must evolve not just as a static access permission, but agent reasoning quality, like depending on the contextual appropriateness and alignment with the organization policies. Everything becomes a real-time context, and that's where the security has to happen at the speed of the machine, basically, instead of being a static model. And what that means is that kind of sets us up to think about what does a good, better, best architecture look like if you are starting that journey? What does that architecture look like? And this is one canonical example, one reference architecture, if you will, that gives you a sense of how we think about zero trust with AI. Could be seen, could be used, could be operationalized in any given organizational context. So I'm going to go quickly from left to right just to kind of paint the picture. This slide within itself could be a 30-minute discussion on any given day. But let's start from identities. Now, identity is no longer just a human construct. It could be an agent, it could be a workload. Most of the times we know these requests on identities and authentication requests, they come from an endpoint. It could be a corporate device, personal device, external device, ephemeral device, durable device. We can calculate multiple permutations there. And as you see, the journey starts from left to right. Everything has to go through an access control. There is the context of where this request is coming from. Is it a phishing resistant MFA request? What is the device context where it's coming from? How is the risk management being done? All of that is being fed through threat protection, where you are probably at Microsoft, we ingest 100 trillion signals every day. So imagine every single authentication authorization request is going through that lens from an access control perspective. And then that request obviously goes through several network controls, on-premise, in the cloud, hybrid, all of that stuff. But then the part of the gold is on the right-hand side, where you no longer only tracking the typical zero trust architecture for data and applications and infrastructure, you also have AI resources where agents and MCP servers are just an example of what those resources could look like. And the beauty of all of this is this all works together. This is cohesive architecture where all of those building blocks come together. You're no longer just talking about data as a pillar on its own, apps as a pillar on its own. All of that is coming together. That's the worldview that we are getting out of the gate with, and we are providing a lot of guidance and consultation to our customers to say, hey, you got to embrace the zero trust architecture, and then in the zero trust architecture conversation, AI has to be the part and parcel for it. We will announce this formally at upcoming RSA conference, where we will talk about zero trust for AI, this reference architecture, and a couple of additional tooling and workshop-related enhancements that we have brought to light. But if you go from architecture to action, like anybody who's done cybersecurity understands that there is a left side of the bang and then there's a right side of the bang, bang being the incident. So you cannot only think about just being on the reactive right side of the bang, like if and when incident happens, and with zero trust, you always assume breach. So you're trying to find out, how do I detect, respond, and recover? But it is equally important to do proactive security, left side of the bang. What can I do to do a better job of identifying and protecting even before the cybersecurity incident happens? And I think that is such a core part. And this CSF and this framework, cybersecurity framework in V2, that has just kind of become like an ongoing thing with the governance sprinkled across everything that we do. So it's like a continuous life cycle, continuous monitoring of those things. And that's the mindset that we need to have when we think about security in the age of AI. So it's a constant evaluation, identification, protection, detection, respond, and recover in that life cycle, in that flow. And our vision from that perspective is that as organizations bring agentic AI into their business, security has to evolve. And I've already mentioned that has to match the scale, the speed, and the autonomy of these AI systems. It has to be at the machine speed. It cannot be turned on later. It has to be on by design, on by default. That's why security has to become ambient. It cannot be an afterthought. And not just ambient, it has to be autonomous. It should always be present. It should always continuously interpret what's happening and respond with the intelligence rather than manual intervention, if you will. It must be built in. It must be built for continuous defense. In this model, you can imagine like red teaming and blue teaming is just constantly happening in real time. And as those exercises result in better security posture for the organization, your autonomous and ambient security is constantly getting better. That's the place where we need to get to, where security is a core primitive. It is ambient, it's autonomous, and it's agents that are always not only finding out the vulnerabilities from your entire digital state perspective, but also being able to patch it, being able to protect it and defend it, and also doing a better job of left side of the bag versus only focusing on right side of the bag. The other part of the picture that I want to quickly share with you is that there has to have a shift towards the left side. You got to think about, you have to protect the entire stack. You have to think about, what is my foundation? What is my infrastructure layer? What is my platform layer? What applications and services that I'm using? What is the agentic mesh that I'm using? So it's not just one thing that you got to focus on. You really have to think through and evaluate throughout the entire stack. And I think that's where threat modeling exercises or zero trust for AI kind of model will help you evaluate your security posture, where it is today, but also will help you build a roadmap of where it needs to go if you want to benefit from a frontier firm perspective and leverage the value and the power of AI without compromising on the security. Now, this is one of the examples where I will share with you what Microsoft is doing and how we are building it. But you can take the similar frame, given the customer context and given their security investment, this conversation will still hold true. So again, let's join me in this journey from left to right. We have 100 trillion signals that feed into our system on a daily basis. And then we have a full stack that allows us to do both protect and also defend and respond. So it's like an entire life cycle that we enable, that's powering agents and apps, platforms and clouds. It's a multi-cloud, multi-platform, hybrid infrastructure. Regardless of what you're using, we want to meet you where you are. So that's the approach that we are recommending our customers to have when they make bets on the security platforms. They have to think of a holistic end-to-end AI-first security platform instead of a bunch of hodgepodge things that are stitched together. And a lot of customers that we talk to are still struggling with 30, 40, 50, 60 security tools that they have invested in, and those tools do not talk to each other, let alone at the human speed. You can imagine how complex that gets at the machine speed. So if AI is today, and if somebody was to ask me, hey, Hammad, what does the future hold? Where are we going? I wanted to kind of paint a forward-looking view for you. How many of you have seen a James Bond movie called Skyfall? If you have seen it, just do a thumbs up. One of my favorite movies. I'm not paid to advertise that movie by any means, but I really like that movie. So I use that analogy because this is not a Skyfall moment. We are advising our customers to start thinking about quantum safety and security. We're super early in that journey from qubit maturity perspective. We are like, if you look at the chart, we are somewhere here. We announced our quantum safe program in 2023 at Microsoft. We are at close to thousands of qubits, depending on which quantum computer that you look at. But it has to get to the order of magnitude of millions of qubits for it to be able to go break like RSA algorithm, if you will. So still ways off, but we believe that is the next shift that we're going to go see on our security journey. And for us to be prepared for that, that journey starts today. There is already a harvest now, decrypt later motion, which is gaining a lot of momentum, a lot of bad actors. They would come into the infrastructure, even though they cannot decrypt the information, they will harvest that information and store it. And they can store it because storage is very, very cheap. So our recommendation, our guidance to our customers is that start thinking about it now. The risk window is 4 years out, but you got to start now. You got to be able to go build your cryptographic inventory. So you got to know what system you're using, what cryptographic algorithms you're using. You got to prioritize your high profile assets. You got to think about data that's going to live longer than next 3, 4, 5 years. So then you can really think about the data lifecycle management when quantum day comes to life, basically. With that, I want to wrap it up. Regardless of where you are in the journey, when it comes to security and AI, think about trust as that foundational piece. Trust is the defining currency. Whichever tooling, whichever products, whichever platforms that you use, you got to ask yourself, am I getting the value secure by design, secure by default, and secure in operations? If not, then you got to start putting pressure back into the system. Everything that you are building internally, line of business application services, they should adhere to these principles. And then last but not the least, security has become an innovation enabler. So leverage it, drive it, and make this world a better place. With that, thank you very much, and over to you, Ignatian team.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for the wonderful keynote, Hammad. So folks, if you have any specific questions for Hammad, you can put it on the chat, or else if you want to come off mute, we have like 1 or 2 minutes to spare for questions. If at all you have any specific questions, feel free to come off mute and ask those questions if you have anything for Hammad.